Today I am speaking with Emilio Thomas, also known as Sásamu, a Belizean Garifuna artist whose work weaves together culture, sound, and the story of his community in a very powerful way. Many of you might know him as the rhythm guitarist for the Garifuna Collective, but he's also carving out his own voice through a solo project called Project Inebese, translating to Project Respect in Garifuna. It's a musical project that holds deep roots in Garifuna music, rhythm, and language. For those of you who don't know Garifuna music, it comes from the Afro-Indigenous Garifuna people, whose ancestors were exiled from the island of St. Vincent back in the 1700s, and they ended up settling across the coast of Central America. They carried the music and culture with them, and the songs are characterized by powerful percussive instruments such as Garifuna drumming, the tortoiseshell, the conch shell, and call and response vocals. It's music that's always been about keeping culture alive. Sásamu and I recently collaborated together on a music video for a traditional Garifuna song called Chawabe Balana. This is the first time that the song has been formally recorded and presented both sonically and visually. And that project has led us to further collaborate through Common Threads, a visual platform I've been developing that pairs global musicians with visual artists to create limited edition merchandise inspired by culture and sound. Beyond music, Emilio's been diving deeper into photography, building a portrait archive of his community in Belize that captures a very intimate view of Garifuna life today. So firstly, I'd like to say Sarame to Sásamu, which is thank you in Garifuna, and Buiti Binafi, good morning, for being here today. It is such a privilege to be speaking with you today. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of things, I would love to know what it is that drew you to play music in the first place and how you went on this journey of becoming a touring musician, both within and outside of Belize.
Orit, Novak, it has been a while. It's been a while since I've seen you. I grew up in a town called Dangriga, which is the culture capital of Belize. I grew up in culture, so in the everyday life, we have to be hearing and participating in music and dance and all the other things that we do traditionally. So I had no choice but to be a part of, and that's how I continued to do music and all the different things that I promote in the culture among my people. So that's the genesis of Project Inebese. It is a lifestyle. It's an ongoing thing.
Mm-hmm. And with Project Inebese specifically, can you speak about the word, what it means in context of your music and the project that you're currently working on?
Project Inebese, with Inebese meaning respect in Garifuna, because we know, based on our experiences and what has been handed down, that in order for us to love and appreciate and fight for what we want, we have to accept people as they are and as who we are as a people in order for us to potentially love it, take care of it, protect it, and all of these things. And so Project Inebese was also a language program in order to help parents who can't speak in order to come with their children, or they would, if they don't have the time, they would send their children to the program that I ran for 3 years at the Pablo Lambe building in Dangriga, and became a nonprofit, an informal nonprofit scholarship program, a community organization for the generation at hand. It's like investing in a generation.
Mm-hmm. So it started as a language program and then it moved to
Yes.
becoming a musical project.
Yes. And eventually, because of another project called Project Onababa, it had to do with gathering of elders who knew a lot of the traditional songs and to recall the lyrics and to discuss over a period of years to talk about the meaning of the songs, the stories of the songs and stuff like that. And we were a part of it. And so a number of the songs that we perform are a result of those workshops that we attended. We got opportunities to continue on as a performing group, and we have decided that we are going to take it to the next step and make Project Inebese a significant representation of Garifuna music here in Belize and beyond.
Within this new space that you're carving out with the band, how do you see it differing from the Garifuna Collective and the work you've done in that specific music group?
I see Project Inebese different, being a younger group of performers, and we have more aspect of the music culture of the Garifuna people. The Wanaragua, the Cherikanare, the Hugu Hugu, which we also perform on the Garifuna Collective, of course. We do it in a way whereby we want each representation of the genres that we have to be on the stage. And so when people get curious and when they see these instruments that are special to our music, like the turtle shells, when they see them combined and they see the different dances and rhythms, they get curious and want to know more of where did this music come from? Where is this coming from? How can we hear more of it? And when they go to the source, that's when they start to interact with the other elements of the culture.
Now, moving briefly to our project that we collaborated on together, Chowabe Balana, the Garifuna song that you had chosen to record professionally and that we then made a music video for during the time of the November 19th celebrations in Belize. Could you speak to the decision to record that song in particular and what the meaning of it is to you?
To me, that song has to do with someone who is transitioning to a new person, and they have decided that whatever wasn't working is no longer applicable. So they wanted someone to be an ear. So they called the person to pull your chair. I want to talk to you about these things. And it's something that you can relate to society. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, what language you speak. Everyone can relate to when they're feeling the change happening. They want to go forward and they want to share it with someone. And I think when they hear it outside while interacting with another human being, that is where they know for sure that, hey, this is something that I want to do, so I'm going to do it. And they're being present with that transition. So that's what it means to me. And I chose that song because, like I said, at Project Ona Baba, it's a song that I really fell in love with from the first time I heard it. I heard the potential, I felt connected to it. That song had a lot of experience. I heard all the experience in that song. So what I did when I started to sing it and learn it and teach it to others, I spent so much time on that song, arranging it the way it sounds now. And working with you, Orit, was like crazy because it reminded me of when I was in Panama the year before. And that's when I met the producer, Alicia, and she wanted to record me. And that's the first song that came to mind. And then there were other musicians involved who played specific and special instruments of Central America, and they loved it. And the way we recorded this song, it was like in total noise at the festival. I don't know how they got the sound to even sound because it was a lot of trance music in the background and stuff like that. We were in this little building, a section of it. It was crazy how we recorded it. And we didn't really have headphones, so I was there directing the other guys, when the stops are gonna happen and all the dynamics and stuff. And so when we collaborated together to do the video part of it, I had no idea that it would sing so well. I mean, like, it's very incredible what you do. So, so thank you very much for that. It's crazy.
No, thank you. It's such a privilege to work together and to be in Belize, like hearing the music live, like having that song in context amongst many others was just a very unique experience for me because I think as a listener of Garifuna music, I didn't have the real cultural context and experience for it before having been there. So thank you for your trust as well and working together on that.
One last thing about that, I think seeing that song in the music video, it inspires me even up to this day when I would watch it. It inspires me to do the same, like to repeat that process with the other songs that I really like from the other program. And I think that sitting down with the skilled musicians that I've mentored and also those who I've worked with, I think we can really do some incredible arrangements. Even for one single song, we can have different versions of creative work, because I think we need to take these songs further. It's all about the songs, and in our culture, songs were not measured traditionally by how much money you make from it. It was measured based on how far it reached. So when it's created in this community, it was measured by how many communities down did this song survive and get to. So that song has traveled through time. And I think that whatever it signifies in the history of the Garifuna music culture, that whatever we're doing with it, collaborating, it is a sign to do the same for others.
And
Yeah.
when you are taking an older song that maybe has never been professionally recorded before and interpreting it, what inspires the arrangement when you are sitting down to think about what songs to bring to life in a new way?
The arrangement is inspired by the lyrics and the vocals. So when you have someone singing the song or I am singing the song, I find the chord progression and then you start to hear other things come in. And I think that basically what I've always been interested in when I'm creating a song, I want to use the instruments that are used in our music. So for the other project, I want them to be strictly the instruments that you would see on stage with Project Inebise. So that is the process. We see how everything can fit, create a lot of space so that, the instruments don't fight with each other. And every single thing has to complement the vocal track. So sometimes a project can take a year or more because you would put something in and then later on when you put other stuff, you realize it doesn't work this way. So you have to change it again so it doesn't take away. Because sometimes the less is more. So that would be the process.
What you're speaking to sounds very harmonious, and I think that translates to the visuals and the way we captured many musicians of different age groups performing together. When we were working together, I was surprised by the fact that you were insistent on being captured amongst all the musicians. Can you speak to that decision to not so much center you as separate from the other musicians, but to focus on everyone that is playing the song together?
In our music culture, it's important to display or carry out idea or concept of community. And so I grew up in a time where Dangriga, where I come from, the cultural capital, was a community. Like it was very much of a community where you see people come together and do things together. It didn't matter how much you had, you just bring what you have and nobody would say anything about you didn't bring like as much as me. It was all about coming together and getting it done. It was always about the work. So that sense of community is what I want in the music. I don't want to do things, even as a solo artist, I want to do things with others. And that's why as a matter of fact, there were so many gigs that I turned down because my musicians were not available. And I wouldn't go and do it by myself. The nature of what was needed, I wouldn't go and perform by myself. And
Yeah.
even the audiences that we perform for, even they are a part of the community in that space. So it's not just the musicians playing, it's always us as a family, because if you really listen to a lot of the songs, you would hear the artist say, Niduhayo, Namulenu, things like that. We're always addressing people as siblings or family. Because once you're in that space and that it's almost like you're sharing deity, you're sharing energy together. So that is the reason for that. And I want the music videos to always reflect the sense of community, because I think that is going to inspire a lot of places and people to remember the value of community.
Definitely. I think that really stood out to me about working with you and capturing people on the day. You really feel like the passion for the music and how everyone is so absorbed in what they're doing and present with their instruments. It's quite a special experience that I feel translates very well on camera. I just had a question about what we were speaking about before in terms of the approach to choosing the songs and then adapting them for new audiences. Do you find that there is ever debate around how that should be done, or kind of conversation amongst the other musicians that we should go in this direction or this direction? Or is there very much like an openness around that?
I think generally, as much as we own all the songs, meaning if you really think about it, all Garifuna people are related. You just have to know, or maybe if you're interested, find out how far down the street. And so when we are creating, it is a personal thing. It is a personal connection to the song that belongs to us. So there's total openness to be creative about it. Sing it the way you want, recreate it the way you want in a song recording. So there's always openness. And if you're doing a collaborative work, of course, everyone's going to respect each other and contribute their part And then in the end, you have a product that had to do with the collaborative energy of the group.
And like on that, with collaboration with musicians or artists from like filmmakers or different backgrounds, what are the kind of collaborations you're focusing on most right now? What feel the most meaningful to you?
The collaboration is your community become my community when we collaborate, and collaboration is the way forward. So whatever opportunity comes for me to work with more Garifuna musicians or others, I'm very open to it. But at this time, I want to do as many collaboration with people of different languages, different instrument backgrounds, geographic locations. I want all of it, because this is the time and this is the way how the music is going to travel. Remember, it was always measured by how far it traveled geographically.
Yes.
So even remotely, we can do this. Collaboration is so easy now. I don't need to go all the way to China. I don't need to go all the way to Africa. The social media is there. AI is there to guide the process of connecting with others. So I think that is the way that we're moving forward. And we want to do more collaboration with all the creative pieces. Even in like inviting film people, create an entire treat in Belize. And, so once they come and interact with the Garifuna people and the culture, it's gonna be a life-changing experience for all.
And I think as well from an economic standpoint for artists, this is like very much creating an open playing field for people to build their careers and their businesses in whatever area it is that they are working in. And so I want to use this as an opportunity to talk about Common Threads, which is a new platform you've been consulting on with me, helping independent artists to build new revenue streams through curated limited edition merchandising. And just from your experience, how important is it for artists to understand that music is also a business? And how do you see projects like this changing the way that artists think about earning independently, especially those that are not represented by major labels, maybe new to the industry, trying to grow their presence?
That's a great question with many parts, Orit. I would tell you what my friend, my very best friend in the music realm, he's a producer called Spice, and he's in New York right now. And he would always say that music in this industry, it's 90% business and 10% music. So I think one should treat music as a combination of both, like they're not separate. I think Common Threads is a good way forward for musicians who are independent. We live in a time whereby record labels are no longer really needed. We're not saying that, they shouldn't exist, but a lot of artists will not get an opportunity in a lifetime to be a part of a record label or to sign a deal. So what do you do? And I think Common Threads could be the environment whereby you go there, you build trust, you figure out what you want, and then it's going to lead you to the different things that you will need to bring people to you. The merchandise. The average musician doesn't know a lot when it comes to business. And we have to put ourselves in the position to trust and a trusted entity like Common Threads in order to put the business into play, And so you can't do it, you don't want to do it, trust someone to do it. And I think this has been, from my experience, a very effective way. And then once you see that it is working and you want to continue, then you do. Another option is your experience with Common Threads is that you're going to be asking yourselves relative questions. And eventually you may start to do these things yourself from the experience of being a part of Common Threads. So I would encourage any artist or musician to be a part of the Common Threads community. Let it execute all the different parts of the business in consultation with you, and then pay attention to what happens next.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think there's so much that can be learned from working with people in different areas, and that the end goal with a project like this, or with collaborating with someone from a different area to you, is to always learn more about that process so you can implement it into your own work. So That's a great point.
It may act as a meeting place as well for artists.
Yeah. Now pivoting a little bit, but beyond music, you've also been working on photography and capturing portraits of people in your community. I want to talk about what does this visual work mean to you and how does it connect to the larger mission of what you are doing in music and in film. Personally, have never seen images captured of the Garifuna community like that before, so they're also very unique. And yeah, I'd love to hear more about your process and why you took on photography in the first place.
That's a very interesting question, Orit. And to tell you the truth, with all the countries that I've been, I ask the hard questions. How do you see yourselves? How do you see other people? And how you utilize the space that you occupy? And so culture for me is different because it's the way you do every single thing. And so I would not go to you and tell you how to cook rice. I want to learn the way you do it. If you want, I can teach you the way that we do it. And by the end of the day, you have so many options when you want to cook rice for the week. And so when it comes to perspective, language in specific, when you learn a new language, you learn a different way to see things in your life or things in your environment. So every time when I interact with the people, I get to develop a new lens. And so when I come back home, I do not come back home the same version of me. There's always an update like Apple. And so when I return to my community, I see things differently. It's almost like I'm not a part of it. I'm there, but I'm also outside. And so I come back, I see these images, and I see them before I even capture them with my camera. And I think that to document a people, it is very important that someone from the community does that in that sort of way and present it in a special way to others, to the world. So that is what I've been working on. Photography is very important to me, still images, because those things like later on people are going to super appreciate. And plus I'm documenting things to let people know that, hey, this is what it used to look like. And sometimes old becomes new again just because of the pictures. So photography, I fell in love with it. I was inspired by someone watching them and talking to that person. I got interested in film and also to document certain stories. Photography for me is an introduction to film because I want to document all of these stories and also these processes of building instruments and other tools and things like that among my people. But more so the documentaries with the stories of the past, and so that people could have an idea what it means to be Garifuna and how, what are the struggles that our people went through, but more importantly, what we are now and what can we do to move forward to make things not better but different, whereby we build a stronger foundation in every single aspect of the culture.
Well, firstly, we're so excited to see what comes next, whether it's a film project or a different photography collection. But I want to know as well, what has been the response so far in Belize, in the community, to the people you've been capturing? I know you recently had an exhibit which toured around the country. What has that been like for you, putting the work out there and getting response from the community and outside?
It has been inspiring because children are always involved, and in Belize there are not many options of what one can do in the future. So photography and the way I present it at the exhibits, I use it as a tool to inspire someone that no matter what they want to do, it is important to venture or enter into mastery. So for example, with my time, I only do things if I want to master them, or else I'm not going to start it. So mastering that skill, that attitude, whatever it is like super important because it shows you something about yourself. You're speaking to yourself. And once you have spoken to yourself, and then you recognize your ability, your potential, then you're going to repeat that process in another area. So that's like super important. And the pictures, the portraits are on tour. I did my second exhibition in Benke, and they're going to have other locations in the country leading up to December, once a month.
That's amazing. And such a great opportunity, as you mentioned as well, for a younger generation to learn about different career pathways and what can be taken
Yes.
on,
Yes.
how to grow the arts and the culture area, because visual documentation is such an important aspect of
Yes.
that.
And I think at this point, all the different pieces that are documented, I think that they're going to inspire something great in the future, because a single picture or a single piece in the documentary about one of the instruments or tools or some story can inspire a movie, for example,
Yeah.
because there are a lot of things that may not exist in a time from now, and they will be documented, so they're going to be there for a generation to interact with, and that can be a part of what they're going to express in however they want.
Yeah. It seems that there is still a very strong connection to traditional ways, at least from my experience in Belize. I did observe a lot of children learning how to play Garifuna drums. What you're saying, it's speaking to a growing of that area and maintaining
Yes.
and preserving what has been so it can be taken into the future. And speaking of taking things into the future or introducing them to new audiences as well, you have this upcoming 2 very key performances or events later in this year. One is the Belize Investment Summit, and the other is the World Expo in Japan. 2 very exciting events, I can imagine. How are you thinking about cultural translation in these spaces? Especially, I guess, in Japan, where it is just very different entirely. What is your approach to bringing Garifuna identity to new global audiences?
Well, because of my background in linguistics, not as a profession, but I did a course in linguistics while I was attending this college, and then I took it on personally upon myself to learn certain elements of language, and that is what allowed me to learn other languages easier. And I recognize that there are certain similarities with Japan, because we're going to the World Expo in Japan in Osaka. And so I'm going to use that in order to let them see the similarities as well with the Garifuna language, the Japanese language. I'm going to put myself in the position to ask many questions and learn from them. And in that moment, they will recognize that I am also open to sharing. So I have, because of my involvement in the different parts of my culture, I have a lot to offer when it comes to sharing, to representing the different aspects of the Garifuna culture. The Belize International Investment Summit, I'm going to perform there for the first time. I didn't attend it 2 years ago at the last one, and I recognized the need for my band to perform there, to show the different parts. There was a Garifuna group that performed at the last one, but there were so many things that were not represented on the stage in the performing area. So I want to take those, because I learned from that experience. And I want to take my group there to showcase, so that people from the different countries can see what Belize has musically and culturally. It's something that they may want on a festival stage where they come from. So I think that is a great opportunity for Belize. It's a great opportunity for the Garifuna people and Project Enebise for us to pull this show off on the 4th of September this year.
Amazing. Yeah, we look forward to
Yeah.
hearing more about that. What is one thing that you would say you would want audiences to feel or take away when they hear your music or see you perform live?
I want them to feel relative and alive. I want them to feel that they are a part of us. We're not so different. One consciousness, one people. We do have, the differences are very important. They're as important as the similarities. But those are the things that make us human, that make us want to be a part of something. Because imagine everyone was the same, there would be no excitement.
Looking ahead, what does Garifuna music and cultural expression look to you? And how do you see your continued role within shaping that evolution?
I think that my role and the role of Project Indebise is very significant to our time because of the need for creativity. There is culture and creative, and I think that it has great potential to grow in a lesser time from now. And so, in the different pieces of the Garifuna culture, and let me speak about the music, the potential that I now see based on my experience of travel and the others, because we have a number of people in the Project Inebise community that has traveled to other countries with me and without me as Project Inebise. And I know that there are things that they saw and ideas that they got that can be implemented in our own way. And so I think that taking the time to sit with each song and each instrument that complements the song is a thing that we are doing, and it's going to inspire other Garifuna groups and people to do the same in their specific crafts. So I think that this is an opportunity for us to be an example, and I think this is an opportunity for others to evolve what they have as well.
Mm, that's such a,
Yeah.
yeah, that's such a beautiful point. Well, Sarah May, Emilio, thank you so much. That is such a beautiful sentiment and note to end on. And I, for one, am so excited for what the future holds with all your projects. You will keep us updated on how these performances go and the evolution of your photography and video projects. It's been a privilege to interview you as a friend and collaborator. So thank you for this. Thank you for your time. We will continue forward and we look forward to what's next.
Definitely. Thank you very much for inviting me, Orit, on Common Threads, this space. I think that it's the way forward for the industry, and a lot of artists will benefit. And I can't wait to see what happens next. So I will see you in the next one.